All right, here we go. This is Lake Stevens WKBF fishing event here, and we're getting ready to launch. We only got 29 guys today, so it's a smaller tournament than normal, but should be a good time. Paddlers are already left, and the peddlers will be leaving here shortly. Paddlers get a 5-minute head start on the peddlers, and the peddlers get a 5-minute head start on the motors. So that's where we're at. Today's goal: catch a fish, and that's going to be hard to do, so we'll see. So here I am at my starting point. This is before lines in. I've had a snack. I've turned on all my electronics. I've checked all my rigging. I've checked my scents. All this stuff. I've done everything I can possibly think of to be prepared. Except for I didn't pull my wheels off. And so you're just going to have to watch and see how long it takes me to realize that I'm pedaling around with 2 wheels down in the water. Now, I had mentioned in my pre-fish video that my plan was to troll. And so my starting point here is literally 100 yards from the ramp. So I just pedaled out to where it was about 18 to 20 feet of water, and we got ready to do some trolling. And so I'm using the same lure that I caught the 18-incher and the 13-incher on, and I'm using the exact same technique, and I'm going through the exact same area this morning. Hopefully I pick up a fish doing that. Now, if you stick around to the end of the video, I will talk about why I think trolling is a more effective technique, and when it's effective, and all that jazz. So that's something to look forward to near the end of the video. Now, note the action that I'm applying to this lure. It's a jerk bait, and so it's not necessarily a trolling bait, but I am giving it some velocity. When I pull the rod forward, it makes it go faster, and when there's slack in the line, I'm twitching it. So it's looking like a jerkbait a part of the time and looking like a fleeing minnow the other part of the time. And that's what I was doing in practice, and I'm very hopeful that that's going to work here today, even though our conditions are slightly different. This is going to be a sunny day and calm, whereas it was cloudy and rough. So, who knows whether this is going to work or not. Now here you get a little bit better idea what I'm talking about with that action. And I want you to notice that when this fish hits this jerkbait, you can see it was on the pause. As the rod was going back, that lure's paused, and that's when the fish hit it. Pat, when you choke up on the rod, the whole point is so that you have better control over the fish, not leaving 12 feet of line out so you can't get the fish in the net. I do eventually get the fish in the net here, but that's pretty pathetic right there. Okay, well, I know what you guys are thinking. This is not a very big fish, Pat, but it is a keeper. And with sunny and calm conditions, I was just thrilled to catch this fish. In fact, if I catch 4 more like this, I'm going to be ecstatic, over the moon, because it's really, really tough to catch fish in this lake. And so I'm absolutely thrilled here. So I'll let you guys listen to how I felt in a moment. So here's that clip. Well, I didn't turn my camera on for the first fish of the tournament. Forgot. I was so excited. I didn't get skunked. I thought for sure on this lake I was going to get skunked, but I didn't get skunked, so that was positive. Oh, wow. What a stroke of luck that was. Well, okay, I suppose you could say it was all skill, but I think catching a fish on this lake has a certain level of luck to it. All right, maybe I'll remember to turn the camera on for the next fish. Okay, we got another fish on. Feels like a decent one. I'm hoping I got by that buoy. Yeah, I did. Might be another 12-incher. No, I don't think so. He was snagged in the head, that's why. He was feeling like he was a bigger fish. I thought that was a big fish. Oh well. Damn dinkers. I'm using this much bigger lure here, hoping that I wouldn't catch too many of those little dinkers, but so far I've gotten 2 of them. There you have it. After almost an hour of fishing, I have an epiphany. You know, the reason why you're having so much trouble keeping this kayak up to speed is because your wheels are still down. I'm such a knucklehead. And now, so you get an actual feel of what it was like to fish in this tournament, we have queued up for you a perch montage. This is only a fraction of the ones that I caught, too. It's just the ones I happened to stumble into when I was scrubbing through the videos. Fish. It's a damn perch. You stupid perch. Enough of that silliness. Let's get back to the competition here. Shortly after I caught that fish, I got to the end of a section that was where I had caught most of the fish in pre-fishing. So I thought, well, I'm going to just turn around and go back through this again and then come back through it again. And I went through all of that gyrations and caught absolutely nothing. This right here surprised me. I ran across this in the footage, and I don't remember doing this, but I spent a little over 30 minutes fishing a drop shot and a wacky worm and some other things, all of which I had no success with whatsoever in pre-fishing, and it's why I had decided that I was going to troll, because everything I caught in pre-fish was trolling. So I was really annoyed that I had wasted 30 minutes of the day doing this stuff. My only consolation was that I actually ate a snack, and that's hard to do while you're trolling, so, okay, that's my excuse. I apparently eventually figured it out, because here I am trolling again. And I switched to a square bill because I thought, well, maybe that giant jerkbait is preventing some of those keeper fish from biting, and turns out it worked out all right because I got a hit here. Once again, I forgot to turn my audio camera on, and apparently I wasn't too convinced that this was a keeper because I just boat flipped him, and apparently it is. Some of you probably noticed that this one is 1/4 of an inch smaller than the first one. Well, I don't care. He's still a keeper, so I'm measuring him, and I'm still thrilled. I guess this little guy is excited to go home. Check him out. I had noticed that right before I caught this fish, I started to get some cloud cover and the sun got obscured and the wind picked up just a little bit. And so I'm getting pretty excited here. I think this is going to help. Hey, while I'm hauling this fish in, you don't have anything else better to do. You could just hit the like button for me. I would certainly appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, we got our third fish on. It's pulling pretty good. I think it's a keeper. It took me almost another hour to catch this fish, but the more alarming trend is that this one's 1/4 of an inch smaller than the one before it, which is not a good trend because if I keep getting smaller, I won't have measurables anymore. After those 3 fish, I thought, well, now's a good time to upload my photos, see where I stand in the overall scheme of things. I'm not thinking that 12 fish is much of a limit here, so I just want to see where I'm at. Okay. We're currently sitting in 4th place with 3 12-inch fish. Oh boy. Well, anywho, if I get another 12-inch fish, we'll place. Oh, how silly. Okay, wake you guys up again when I catch another fish. Now, since I just caught that fish there, I thought it'd be best for me to just go right back through that same area. And apparently that was a good idea because I got another bite right here. And this fish feels a little bit better to me. Now, I want to warn you that because this fish is big, I'm going to completely spaz out. And you're going to see some of the worst netting you have ever seen. Now, I'm not exactly known for being good at netting fish, but this is ultimate entertainment right here. I got another fish. I can't believe it. This one seems to be pulling a little bit more heavier. A little nicer fish, I think. Hopefully, we can get him in the boat. Yeah, this is a substantially nicer fish. Oh my God. Thank God it was hooked well. Oh my God. I don't know how I got that one in a boat, honestly. I fucked that up so bad. Excuse me, I screwed that up so bad. Let's see if I can get it measured here. I'm sure this has probably happened to everybody once or twice in their life, but I went to net this fish and the hook got caught in the net and then the fish was on the outside of the net and then, well, let's just watch what happens from a different perspective. So I'm desperately trying to get the fish in the boat. So I just yank it in and it almost goes out the other side of the boat and my rod almost falls in the water. Thank God it was hooked really, really well because I came that close from not placing because this is one of the only 5 fish that I caught. So as I'm getting prepared to measure this fish, I'm really starting to think about this. I'm like, nobody's catching any fish. And so every fish I catch gets me closer to placing in this tournament, which that'll be a first for sure. So this fish is 16¼ inches, and you'll see it's 10 a.m. That's only 10 minutes past when I measured that other fish. So I caught that other fish. I submitted 3 fish. I nearly screwed up the netting. And then I took a picture of this one all in less than 10 minutes. I was moving right along there. So I immediately go ahead and upload this fish just because I'm curious. Well, where did that get me? So this is my reaction after I get that fish uploaded. All right, standings. Let's see what we're at. Oh my God, we're in first place. How the hell did that happen? Who allowed that to happen? Ugh. All right, right after I caught that 4th fish, within about 20 minutes of that time frame, the skies cleared, the wind died down, and so you can see here we got bluebird skies and we've got nice glassy water. And I have gone nearly 3/4 of the way around this lake without getting a bite. Well, perch and stuff, but without getting another keeper bite. So there was a submerged hump in this general area, and I had just passed over that, and I got a bite. And I thought, oh man, this is probably a keeper fish. And it doesn't feel like it's a very big fish, but I'm bringing it in. We'll see. We got a nice fish on. I don't know how big it is, but it feels pretty good. Yes, sir. Nice fish. It's a keeper. I don't know how. And the hook just fell right out. Oh boy. I can't believe it. We got 5 friggin' fish. How the heck does that happen? I suppose I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch here. I don't know for sure it's 12 inches. I think it is. So yeah, I was astounded and thrilled to get that last fish there. It's 12:07, so we have a little over an hour, I think, to fish still. And I did continue to fish, but I didn't catch anything else. I did upload this fish immediately, and what became evident pretty quickly is that other people had caught some fish as well. So I was in 3rd place after submitting that fish, and the next person above me, I think, was 3 or 4 inches above me, which is not a very insurmountable number. If I just caught another 16-inch fish, I would have been in 2nd place at that point. So I thought, well, let's go see what we can do. But I just wasn't able to get one more bite, unfortunately. So here's our results. Sita had 80 and a half. Junior had 69 and a quarter, and I had 66 and 3/4. All I needed was one more mediocre bite. A 15-inch fish would have gotten me second place. But it didn't happen. And I do catch a lot of big fish trolling. So I'm not blaming my technique on that. But what was interesting is that I was the only one who was trolling. And it was only me and Sita who had gotten 5 fish. Junior had only had 4, and he still beat me because he had some big ones. But I think that trolling was certainly the right technique for me. And so we'll go into some detail on why I troll and when I would troll. All right, let's talk about when you would troll. Generally speaking, I find that mid to late summer and fall is the primary time when I'm going to use trolling as a legitimate technique. And the reason for that is that the bass have moved out. They're not all jam-packed in that shallow area, and they've moved out and they're covering a lot more real estate now. It's true that they do school up, but there will be bass in all sorts of different habitat that aren't schooled up. And so when you're trolling, you're presenting that lure to fish that you won't necessarily be able to find because they're relating to a specific structure that you were looking for. So it gives you an opportunity to catch fish that you wouldn't ordinarily target. Now the other thing about fall and summer is that the bass are feeding on bait fish, and so they're used to chasing stuff down. They're used to things moving fast, and so they're primed already to be able to hit a lure that's moving at a pretty good pace, which is what you get with trolling. I kind of liken the trolling method as a bit of a cheat code for people who don't know what the hell they're doing. Right? So if you struggle to actually find the fish on specific habitat, trolling is an easy. You basically just have to identify where the majority of the fish are holding what depth, and a real typical way of doing that is just to troll along the outside edge of weeds. And by doing that, you don't need to be a bass expert to catch these fish. You just basically need to stick with the plan, and you'll eventually get bites. So the question then becomes, well, why was trolling successful here on Lake Stevens? Why was I able to catch 5 fish when the vast majority of the field were struggling to get 2 fish? So, and that has to do, I think, with the presentation itself. So when you're trolling, you're presenting the bait at a pretty constant depth. That's not something that the fish are seeing from fishermen. Typically, you won't see a lure progress over a long distance at a single depth. And when you present a lure, a lot of times you'll see fish following it back to the boat. Well, when you're trolling, that fish can follow that bait for as long as it feels like before it decides to bite it. And I think in a lot of cases, it may be 20 or 30 yards that they'll follow that bait before they finally decide to bite. And I have often felt them bite the lure multiple times before they actually get hooked. So I think that's why it's more successful than some particular in pressured situations like Lake Stevens, right? We had a lot of people fishing for those fish, and I caught my 5th fish really late in the day in an area where a lot of people had been fishing. So it's one of those things that it's a presentation that the fish just don't see an awful lot of. I think a lot of people are hesitant to troll because it's not legal in the boat tournaments to troll. But the reason for that is that the expectation is that they're going to have pro-ams and that sort of thing where you have an extra boater in the boat with you, and unless they're committed to trolling with the professional, it's not really a very fair scenario. So they just decided that it would be in everybody's best interest to prohibit trolling for those bass tournaments. So that's why it's not legal in those tournaments, but it certainly is in ours. And by ours, I mean the kayak tournaments. Okay, well, I hope that that was helpful and that you'll give trolling a try. That's pretty much all I have for you, so please like, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions about trolling or the trolling technique, feel free to pop them down in the comments, and I'll be certain to respond. And once again, as always, I appreciate you guys.